Opera Showcase is going to be presenting their 34th annual showcase concert this year, featuring the winners of the Metropolitan Opera Auditions of the Western Regional finalists. And Lilli is here to tell us about how it all works, and we'll get into a little back and forth about what went on last year. And Lilli, it is so great to have you here with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the fact that you give us the time and the exposure to tell people about our organization.
Well, I'm also a proud member of the board, and so I can speak personally of what a wonderful event it is, and I know how hard people work to pull this all together. So why don't you, first of all, give my listeners some background on what is the Opera Showcase of the Desert?
All right. The Opera Showcase of the Desert is a very unique organization. It actually is a boutique organization, which means it only does one or two things a year. But we have done it for the last 34 years, every time at the Annenberg Theater of the Palm Springs Art Museum. Actually, what we do is we take the 5 finalists of the Western region of the Metropolitan Opera Competition and present them as a showcase once a year to the Coachella Valley public.
Now, Lilli, before you go any further with that, let's tell our listeners what is the date of the upcoming event. It is this month.
Okay, it will be Tuesday, January 26th at 6 p.m. at the Annenberg Theater, followed by a full-course dinner, sit-down dinner upstairs at the museum, catered by Spencer's.
Now, that is a great evening, and it's going to be so much fun, especially since the dinner is right in the museum. People are going to be able to walk from the theater over to the art museum, and they're going to have everything beautifully arranged and decorated for this marvelous, marvelous dinner. Tell us what the price is going to be.
Actually, they only have to walk up the stairs or take an elevator.
Well, that's true. Walk up the stairs or take. Well, yes, but you got to go up or in. Or
the price is, we have several prices. The ticket price alone for the show is $43, and you can get the best tickets right now if you call Mrs. Marion Schaefer at 760-323-0154.
Repeat that, Lilli.
760-323-0154. The tickets are $45.
For the show alone.
For the show alone. You can also call the museum box office, which is 760-325-4490.
Now, what are they going to get for just that price? They're going to get a fabulous, fabulous evening before we talk about the dinner.
An absolutely fantastic show with 3 beautiful soprano. One is a mezzo-soprano, beautiful girls, very young, because this competition actually ends at age 30. Then we have 2 handsome men, one a baritone and another one a tenor. And they are going to sing arias from operas. They're going to sing songs from operettas. They're going to sing musical shows from Broadway. They're going to sing alone. They're going to sing together. They'll have trios, and it's going to be just beautiful.
It's absolutely incredible. But we also want to encourage people to take advantage of the fact that this marvelous dinner is going to be held right there in the museum. And as you said, they just need to walk upstairs or take the elevator. So what would that price be then for that?
All right, that would be the show, and the dinner would be $150 per person.
Can you believe it? A show and dinner for only $150 a person? That is fantastic.
And it's also festive and so beautifully done.
Absolutely.
And Spencer's caters, and you know exactly how wonderful the food is at Spencer's. We also have another package because we have another event. The very famous Metropolitan Opera Mezzo mezzo-soprano Michelle DeYoung will come to this valley on March 7th, and we will give a high tea cocktail party in her honor, actually giving her the Mimi Rudolph Award at 3 p.m. that day at the home of Mr. John Armour, who lives in Las Palmas. If you're interested, you can also call Mrs. Marion Schaefer, and if you add that cocktail party to the package of the dinner and the show, that would be $200.
Well, again, what can you get for $200? I mean, there's other, and certainly we have wonderful events going on in the Valley, but sometimes there's one event going on with one dinner and it's $300, $400, $500. Here we have 3 events for $200. Not only is it a cost-effective evening, but a wonderful evening. Where else can you hear potential Metropolitan Opera singers? This is incredible. I get impressed every time I hear these details, and I'm on the board, for heaven's sakes, Lilli. This is fantastic.
Well, I'd like to tell you some of the people who passed through here in the past 34 years.
Well, we'd like to hear that, too. But I think before you get to that point, what I want my listeners to know that we haven't emphasized, that we are really the only organization in the Valley that showcases these singers. Is that not correct,
That
Lilli?
is correct. We're the only organization actually connected with the Metropolitan Opera in New York through the fact that we take the Western Region finalists and show them in a showcase, actually present them in a showcase to our wonderful Coachella Valley audition.
And this is a fundraising event.
Not audition, audience.
Yes, but this is a fundraising event also, and Showcase has raised over $250,000 that goes directly to the artists, the Western Region, and the Metropolitan Opera, and the Metropolitan Opera Education Program.
Exactly.
This
is
fantastic.
A fundraising event. We are helping young singers. Not only do we help young singers, but we are also interested in the children of the Valley. And every single year at the dress rehearsal, we invite children of the Valley from Cathedral City, Palm Springs High School, middle school. We have 400 children who come every year and listen to opera and operetta for the first time usually in their lives. And over the past 34 years, we had about 10 to 12,000 children of the Valley listening to this kind of music and loving it, getting up and screaming and really enjoying it.
That's the thing that is so impressive also, that they're hearing it for the first time and they just think it's magic, and it is, absolutely.
Really, you'd think they may not enjoy it because it's so new to them, but they really love it. For that, we received the shiny apple of the Board of Education of Palm Springs this past November 8th, and we were very proud that we were selected to get this award.
Well, the other thing that I would like to mention, too, to our audience is that we did an event at the Rancho Mirage Library last month. It was a free event to the public, and it was an event to introduce ourselves to people at the other end of the valley, because there's other wonderful opera groups out there, but they get us confused. So this was a way for Norman Middleman, our art director, to present some of the singers and let people know who we are and present some wonderful singers. Well, it was a standing room only. They had to close the doors, audience, because there were people, the fire regulations would not allow everyone in that wanted to go in. And that shows you it was a free concert, but it shows you the popularity of this and was a great way to introduce ourselves to that end of the valley. Don't you agree, Lilli?
Yes, I couldn't imagine that many people would come and we would have to refuse so many people. We actually closed the parking area about 6:45, and the show didn't start till 7 o'clock.
Well, actually, people were coming in between 6 and 6:30, and then finally they had to lock the doors because there were people standing out there banging on the door wanting to get in, and they just could not do it. No. It was because of the fire regulations.
You know what we did? We opened the door doors because people were
Yes.
standing outside so that they could listen to it.
That's right.
Because we felt why they wanted to come and listen, so let them, you know.
Well, I had to stand too, and I was glad to stand. I was glad that I was able to get in, even though I got there early and I'm on the board, and I was just delighted with it. What else would you like to tell us about this?
Well, I had started to tell you about the wonderful singers that have come through here. To give you some names, Thomas Hampson, Deborah Voigt, Carol Van Ness, now Michelle de Jong, Grace Bumbry,
Susanna Guzman was
Guzman,
yes, Lilli Joseph Award,
who was coming here for a lecture in a couple of weeks at the museum.
Well, that's what I want my audience to hear. Lilli Joseph, my guest, has been so involved with opera and this organization for so long that she has been recognized. An award is named after her, and Susanna Guzman was one of the honorees, and Eugene Chang, Amber Wagner, and there's no one that works as hard. Well, the whole board works hard, but Lilli, certainly you work to bring opera here.
Well, but then I would like to return the compliment by saying you're the first board member who ever put anybody on radio and made it possible for us to talk about this. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome.
Like
I'm happy to do that, for heaven's sakes.
We're like the Mutual Admiration Society.
Yes, we are. Well, it's very important to get it out, and I do talk about a lot of organizations and fundraisers, and my goodness, if I can't get my own opera showcase to come in and talk about it. Well, Steve Kelly was also wonderful last year, the year before, to have us as guests and talk about opera.
Yes,
and
he did.
Opera is it's. I wish more people would get out and hear it and join us for the opera showcase. Opera is a lot of fun. It's not stuffy. It's exciting. And when you see these young people, the women in their gorgeous gowns, and the handsome men in their tuxedos, and the romance that goes on upstage, and the fun that goes on, it's really quite a night. So let's mention that date again.
All right. I'll give you some details also. It's Tuesday, January 26th at 6 p.m. at the Annenberg Theater, which is the theater of the Palm Springs Art Museum. If you purchase tickets or you buy the dinner, you can come and pick up your tickets in the hall of the Annenberg Theater at between 4:30 and 6 p.m. The show goes on at 6 p.m., but you can come already at 4:30 to pick up the tickets and the seating for the dinner. If you just want to come with a ticket, then you must appear before 6 o'clock. But I just wanted to tell you that it's very simple. You don't have to...
It is very simple. We certainly don't want to frighten anybody. It's
No,
very
it's
simple.
an easy,
and the reserved
easy
seats.
evening. Really easy evening, reserved seats. So we hope to see you there, and I want to thank Jacqueline again for giving us the opportunity to talk about our wonderful, smashing, fabulous event.
And it is fantastic. And Lilli, thank you so much for being here. My guest has been Lilli Joseph, who is second vice president of Opera Showcase of the Desert and in charge of member events. And she is our great leader, and I want to invite you all to come. And again, it was on Tuesday, January 26th, and you've got all the telephone numbers to call. And do join us, and I appreciate your all being here.